Today on Catherine Learns Stuff, I'm going to walk you through how to design this custom wand box using Design Space for Cricut. We're going to start off with just some basic shapes to make this wand box. So we're just going to select our shapes and we're going to go and select the square. The one thing that we need to make sure is that we unlock our dimensions so that we can change the size of the box to the way we want it. So we want it to be 2.5 inches wide and we want it to be 11.5 inches high. This is going to be the front face of the box, and we're going to make the box into two sort of sections. One is going to be the top part of the box, which closes, and the other part is going to be the bottom part, which is going to hold the wand. So first we're going to start off with the top part. Now, this is the top of the front face of the box for now. We're just going to leave it solid so that later on we can make some modifications quickly to our additional pieces. Now what we're going to do is we're going to quickly just make a duplicate of this. And this is going to be the one side of our wall. The one thing that we will do is we're going to change our dimensions from 2.5 inches wide to 4. So this will allow us to have nice cardstock on both the inside and the outside of the box. And adding in another shape of a square so that we can have a tab that will hold the box together. So this is going to be 0.5 inches wide, and it's going to be also 11.5 inches high. So the one thing that I like to do with these is I'll quickly just make a little triangle to cut off my edges here so that I can use that as the tab of the box so the pieces don't fold over on each other. So quickly grabbing both and slicing, I've got the shapes that I need, so I can delete 2 of them quickly, and I'm going to take off the third one, and I'm going to use the second one, and I'm going to use this up here to get the other half of this. So I'm quickly just going to rotate this vertically and place this up here, and also slice these 2 bits. So now I've got my little bit that I'm going to use as my tab to connect to the top box. So I'm just going to quickly delete these. And now before I do anything else, I'm going to quickly add in some score lines. So this score line needs to be 11.5 inches long. And it's going to go in the center of this box. Just moved up a little bit, of course. And we're going to duplicate it so that we have an extra one here. So we've moved the tab onto our large rectangle, and we're going to weld these 2 bits together. Unfortunately, when you weld things, the lines move around, so we're going to move that back. And now we've got our score line still at the 2-inch center mark, and now we're going to put this one just right here. My hand is a bit wobbly this morning. Okay, so we're going to attach these 2 score lines onto our box so that we have those as fold lines. So this is the one long wall of our box, and now all we need to do is we just need to select it and we need to duplicate it. So now we have 2 walls. So we'll flip one of them around so that we can see sort of what it looks like. So that's 2 walls of our box completed. I'm just going to move this down a little bit, and now what we're going to do is we're going to create a top and a bottom wall. So again, adding in a square. And this is going to be with the same concept that we just did, but it's going to be 2.5 inches wide by 4 inches again high, to allow for the nice cardstock on both sides. So again, we're going to add in a score line quickly so that we don't lose the center of that once we start to weld things. We're going to rotate you 90 degrees, and we're going to make sure that you are 2.5 inches wide, which you are, so plop that right in the middle. Okay, so on this piece we're going to add 3 tabs because we have to connect the box sides and the box itself to the walls and the top of the box. So it's going to be 2.5 inches high by 0.5 inches wide. And again, we're going to employ the triangle method that I just did before to slice this up a little bit so that our tabs are nice and not interfering with the box. Okay, and quickly slicing, deleting the extra pieces that we don't need, moving the one piece over so that we can reuse it to slice the other half. Slicing. Okay, I'm going to delete this. So now this side is ready, so I'm going to duplicate this. Duplicate, flip it around, and that's going to go on this side. We're going to duplicate one more piece of this guy and put this one here for now. It stays. And we're going to rotate this last duplicated piece by 90 degrees so that it can go at the bottom. Now you'll notice that it's a little bit small, so what we're going to do is we are just going to stretch it out if it lets me. I have to zoom in a little bit to get that stretch. So we're going to want this to be 2.5. My stretching's not working, and our width of 0.5 so that it all stays symmetric, and we're going to put that there. So we've got our 3 tabs. What we're going to do is we're going to quickly weld these 3 together onto our side wall, and we're going to send this to the back so that, oh, that's the wrong button. We're going to send this to the back so that we can see our score line again. Now we need to add 3 more score lines. So again, shapes. This one is already, I'm just going to make this 2 inches so that it's the right size. And that's going to connect here, but we'll duplicate it quickly so we don't have to make another one in a second. So we've got one here, like there, another one here, and then we're going to select this top one and duplicate it because it's already the right dimension, and we're going to put it right there. Now quickly attaching all of these together so that we can have score lines ready. So that's the top of our box wall. So again, we're quickly going to duplicate this and we're going to flip it vertically so that we can have the full box. So right now we've got the 5 pieces of the top box. So that's done. We're going to select them all and duplicate it so that we have what's going to be our inner box. So we're going to leave that aside for now. We have one last thing that we want to do on this top box, because on my design I have a peekaboo window. So this allows us to see the wand inside the box. So again, going to shapes, making a rectangle. This rectangle is going to be a little bit smaller than what we have on the top face. So it's going to be 10 inches high, and it's going to be 1.5 inches wide. This will ensure that there's no interference with the side tabs of the top and bottom boxes. And if I can center it there, we're going to quickly slice that section out. So that can be deleted and that can be deleted, and now my top box is completed. So now we're going to switch directions and focus on our inner box. The inner box needs to be slightly smaller because we want to be able to close the 2 boxes. So the way that I found that was best to do this was to decrease my front face of my box to the dimensions that I want, and then size the other ones accordingly. So I'm making it smaller by 1/8 of an inch. So my 11.5 inches is going to turn into 11.375 inches. And my 2.5 inches is going to turn into 2.375 inches. 2.375 inches. Okay. 11.375. Okay. So this is the shape that I want everything to match up to. So quickly, I'm just going to reduce the size of my side panels. I want to make sure that my lock is off on my height and width dimensions, because I don't want to change the actual size, the height of the walls. So I'm only changing the dimensions that affect the shape of the base of the box. So we're back to 11.375 for this one, and then same for this one here. It's going to be 11.375. We'll notice that why isn't that? So I'm just trying to line them all up so it looks nice later. It helps me do a verification as well. I've got too many things on my screen here, and we're not able to line up nicely. Okay, and now with the top wall pieces, again, we want to keep the overall height to be 4.5 inches. So we're just changing the one dimension of the 3.5. That 3.5 inches width is going to be changing by 1/8 of an inch. So that's going to go down to 3.375. 3.375. And the same thing with the bottom one, 3.375. So this will make sure that the box lines up. So this is the inner box that we've got now. So finally what we need to do is we need to make a stand for the wand itself. So I'm just going to take the interface of the inner box and duplicate it so that I've got a spare piece here, which is what I'm going to use for my wand stand base. So I can make this piece a little bit smaller if I want to, just so that there's clearance when I've got the box all put together, but I can leave it at the same size since the dimensions will fit right in there. So I'm just, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to leave it the same, but I could make it, you know, marginally smaller. So what I need to do now is I need to add in 2 more shapes. I need to add in this half circle tab piece, and I'm just going to work with one for now. Let's zoom in here. So the important thing to remember is that my 2.5 inches in height here needs to be reduced because my whole box is only 2 inches high. So really I'm going to try to make this 1.75 inches high overall, and I'm going to have my inner dimensions sitting at around 0.75 inches. So instead of 1.66, it's going to be 0.7, no, 0.75 is not good. We're going to go 1.25. Just going to put this here to take a look at it. And it looks like it's a good shape size for it because it doesn't need to be totally over the whole thing. And I'm also going to now add in another score line onto the tab here. Just change this dimension to 1.75, and we're going to rotate it by 90 degrees, and that's 1.25, sorry. That's 1.25. Okay. So I want to make sure that this is sort of kind of in this location here, so that I'm going to have space to bend it. And then finally I need to add in sorry, before I do that, I'm going to duplicate this so I've got my tab for the other piece, because my 2 tabs are going to be slightly different because the wand that I'm using tapers as it approaches the tip of the wand. So make 2 circles. The first circle I'm going to change to, I want to make sure my dimensions are locked so that my circle is a circle. We're going to make this 1.25 inches diameter, kind of about here. And this other circle we're going to make 0.75 inches diameter, and that's going to go here. So I'm going to slice these bits out because I don't need those circle bits in so that my wand actually fits through it. That did not slice. Let's try that again. I'm going to delete the circle bits inside. We're going to send this tab to the back so that I can find my score line again. And going to attach these two bits together. And so one piece will go, I'll move this to the back as well so that I can show you what it looks like. So this is kind of going to go in this location, and this one we're going to flip this way, and that's kind of going to go in that location. We're going to put those on, we're going to glue those on later. So now I've got, here in this section, I've got the top of my box. Here I've got my inner box, and here I have my wand stand. So all that's left to do is change the colors, or to set it up for Make It to select the paper size, this paper color that you want. I've tried to maximize this using a 12 by 12 cardstock, but it could be made smaller. So that's it. With this, all you need to do is make it, hit the Make It button, and you are ready to cut your cardstock into the wand. I have another video on how to assemble the box, but for the most part it's pretty self-explanatory based off of just folding on the lines and making the design show up on the inside and the outside of the box. Hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. You can also follow me on my website at catherinelearnstuff.com. You can sign up for my newsletter to get access to my resource library where this file is freely available to you. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks so much.